We spend our lives reaching, grasping, trying to bend the world to our will. We build meticulously planned futures, set rigid goals, and then spend our waking hours wrestling with circumstances that refuse to conform. It's a relentless battle for certainty in an inherently uncertain universe, a constant push against the tide of what is. This pursuit, though born from a desire for security, leaves us utterly drained, constantly feeling like we're on the verge of losing control. We feel a gnawing anxiety when things deviate even slightly from our carefully constructed plans. A deep-seated frustration that whispers we aren't good enough, aren't smart enough, to simply make things happen the way we want. This endless struggle creates a profound energetic toll. Every moment spent resisting the natural flow of life, every argument with reality, chips away at our vitality. We become tethered to the outcomes we desperately seek. Our happiness and peace of mind held hostage by forces entirely outside our reach. This clinging to external control isn't just exhausting. It builds invisible walls around us, limiting our potential and blinding us to the subtler, more powerful ways the universe actually operates. It keeps us trapped in a cycle of striving, never truly experiencing freedom. And real quick, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell for more videos. Now let's keep going. But what if this entire edifice of control is built on a fundamental misunderstanding, a carefully crafted illusion? What if the very concept of forcing an outcome, of manipulating external events, is a misdirection? There's a deeper truth about how reality bends, a truth that has been deliberately obscured, making us believe the only way to achieve our desires is through sheer force of will and relentless effort. This section begins to reveal the first crack in that foundation, hinting that our understanding of control might be precisely what's holding us back. The first crack in our foundation of control is the dawning realization that we might be fighting a phantom. What if the external world we desperately try to manage isn't as solid or as independent as we believe? This initial thought is unsettling, a whisper of doubt that challenges the very core of our perceived reality. It suggests that the battle we've been waging might be against a mirage, and that the true power lies not in pushing against the world, but in understanding its deeper, more fluid nature. And this is just the beginning of understanding how to truly align with that nature. A journey that starts with the mind itself. The first principle of Hermeticism, mentalism, states boldly, all is mind. This isn't just a poetic phrase. It's a fundamental truth that suggests our entire experienced reality. The tangible world we touch and see is in fact a vast mental construct. It means that the universe, in its totality, exists within a universal mind. This concept can feel deeply counterintuitive. Our senses scream that the chair beneath us is solid, the air we breathe is real, and the events unfolding around us are independent of our consciousness. Yet Hermeticism posits that everything we perceive is a manifestation within this greater mind. If all is mind, then our individual thoughts are not just passive observations or fleeting ideas. They are, in fact, active forces. They are the architects of our personal experience, the subtle yet powerful sculptors of the reality we inhabit. Every belief, every expectation, every fear, and every desire we hold ripples outwards, shaping the landscape of our perceived world. It's like we are each tiny consciousnesses, contributing our unique vibrations to the grand symphony of existence. And the universe responds in kind. Consider reality as a vast, intricate mirror. This mirror doesn't just passively reflect what's in front of it. Instead, it actively mirrors the dominant mental states, the underlying beliefs, and the deeply held projections of consciousness. If your prevailing mental state is one of lack, the mirror will show you more lack. If you project fear, fear will be returned. This mirroring effect is not a judgment, but a fundamental law of the mental realm. It's a constant feedback loop, showing you precisely what you are broadcasting, whether consciously or unconsciously. This brings us to a rather unsettling question. How can we truly trust our perceptions when the very fabric of existence is revealed to be mental in nature? If what we see, hear, and feel is fundamentally a projection from mind, then our senses can be deceiving us. Not in the way we might think of optical illusions, but on a far more profound level. The solidity we perceive, the independence we assume, might be nothing more than a particularly persistent thought form. This challenges everything we thought we knew, and it leads us directly to the next paradox of vibration. Everything, absolutely everything, is in constant motion. This is the core of the Hermetic principle of vibration. Nothing in the universe, not at its most fundamental level, ever truly rests. It's a perpetual dance of energy, a ceaseless oscillation that permeates all of existence. From the smallest subatomic particles to the grandest galaxies, everything is vibrating at a specific frequency. We often perceive stillness, a sense of solid permanence, but this is merely an illusion, a trick of our limited perception. The appearance of physical matter, the solid objects we interact with daily, arises not from inherent materiality, but from the specific frequencies and patterns of these vibrations. Think of it like radio waves. We can't see them, but they are all around us, carrying information. Different stations broadcast on different frequencies, and our radio receiver tunes into one specific frequency to bring us sound. Similarly, the perceived solidity of an object is simply the result of its atoms vibrating at a very rapid, consistent rate, creating a stable pattern that our senses interpret as solid matter. But these vibrations are not just passive waves, they are alive with potential. They are the fundamental building blocks of all that is. Every thought, every emotion, every physical object is a manifestation of these energetic frequencies. And here lies the paradox. Despite this constant, frenetic motion, we experience a world that appears stable and unchanging. This illusion of stillness is so powerful, so ingrained, that it feels like the absolute truth, obscuring the dynamic, energetic reality that lies beneath the surface. The idea that everything is vibrating might seem abstract, but it has direct, tangible implications for how we experience our lives. If everything is energy, and energy is constantly moving, then our thoughts and emotions are also forms of vibration. This understanding leads us to the next crucial Hermetic principle, a principle that explains how these vibrations interact and influence one another. And it starts with the idea of like attracts like. If everything is indeed a vibration, then different vibrations have a natural tendency to interact. This is where the principle of correspondence comes into play, suggesting a deep connection between the macrocosm and the microcosm. It's a principle that reveals how the patterns and laws governing the vast universe are mirrored in the smallest aspects of our own being. We are not separate from the cosmic dance. We are an integral part of it, and our inner states directly influence our outer experiences. Consider the idea that the laws governing the movement of planets are somehow echoed in the way we form habits, or how the principles of growth and decay in nature are reflected in our own life cycles. This isn't mere coincidence or poetic metaphor. Hermeticism asserts a profound structural similarity between different levels of reality. The same fundamental forces, the same energetic interactions, are at play whether we're looking at the formation of a galaxy or the subtle shifts in our own emotional states. This resonates deeply with the idea that as above, so below. The above refers to the spiritual or universal plane, the unseen forces and laws that govern existence. The below refers to the material or physical plane, the world we experience with our senses. The principle of correspondence bridges these two realms, showing us that the patterns and principles of the unseen are constantly manifesting in the seen. It's like looking at the reflection of a tree in a still lake. The reflection, though not the tree itself, perfectly mirrors its form and structure. This principle suggests that our internal world, our thoughts, beliefs, and emotions, is not isolated from our external circumstances. Instead, there's a continuous, dynamic interplay. The energetic patterns within us are constantly seeking resonance with similar patterns in the external world. It's a subtle, often unconscious process, but it means that what is happening within us is directly related to what is happening to us. This understanding sets the stage for the next paradox, which explains how these internal and external patterns are not static, but are in constant flux, always seeking a new equilibrium, leading us to the principle of cause and effect. The universe operates on an immutable law of cause and effect. Every action, every thought, every choice initiates a chain reaction, a ripple that travels through the fabric of existence. Nothing happens in isolation. Every event has a preceding cause, and every cause has a subsequent effect. This is not a system of random occurrences, but an intricate, interconnected web of creation and consequence. It's a fundamental principle that governs everything, from the smallest atomic interaction to the grandest historical movements. This law is often misunderstood as simple punishment or reward. But it's far more nuanced. It's not about a cosmic judge doling out fairness. Instead, it's about energetic resonance. When you send out a vibration, a cause, the universe, in its infinite intelligence, responds by sending back a corresponding vibration, an effect. If you send out anger, you will eventually attract situations or feelings that resonate with anger. If you send out love and compassion, you invite those vibrations back into your experience. The startling implication here is that we are not passive recipients of fate. We are active co-creators of our reality, constantly weaving the tapestry of our lives through the causes we initiate. Our free will plays a crucial role in this grand design. While we cannot always control the effects that arise from past causes, we have the power at any given moment to choose the causes we set in motion now. This power to choose our present causes is the key to influencing our future effects, offering a profound sense of agency. This understanding of cause and effect is not about blame or guilt. It's about empowerment. It reveals that our current circumstances are the result of past actions and choices, both conscious and unconscious. But importantly, it also shows that our future is not predetermined. By consciously choosing our thoughts, intentions, and actions, we can begin to steer the course of our lives, aligning ourselves with the desired outcomes. This principle of cause and effect leads us directly to the principle of polarity, where apparent opposites are revealed to be two sides of the same coin. Every apparent duality, every seemingly irreconcilable opposition, is in fact merely two poles of a single underlying reality. This is the essence of the Hermetic principle of polarity. Think of hot and cold. They seem like opposites, but they are simply different degrees of the same thing. Temperature, there is no absolute hot or cold, there is only a spectrum. Similarly, love and hate, light and darkness, good and evil all exist on a continuum. Two extreme points of a single energetic expression. This principle challenges our ingrained habit of seeing the world in black and white. of categorizing everything as either one thing or its absolute opposite. We tend to judge, to align ourselves with one pole and reject the other. But Hermeticism teaches that by understanding polarity, we can begin to transcend these dualistic perceptions. We can see that the negative pole, the thing we might fear or dislike, is not inherently bad, but simply the other side of an energetic coin that also contains the positive pole. The power of this insight lies in its ability to dissolve conflict and foster understanding. When we recognize that our enemy is simply a different manifestation of the same fundamental energy that also resides within us, or within those we love, it becomes harder to maintain animosity. It suggests that by working with one pole, we can influence the other. For instance, by increasing the temperature in a room. You diminish the cold by focusing on love. You naturally lessen the experience of hate. This understanding of polarity is not about condoning negative behaviors, but about seeing the underlying unity. It's about recognizing that the perceived separation between opposites is an illusion created by our limited perspective. This realization allows us to approach life's challenges with a new sense of balance and integration. Understanding that even in apparent darkness, the potential for light always exists. And this leads us to the next principle, which reveals how this constant dance of opposites is driven by a rhythmic ebb and flow. Just as the tides rise and fall, and the seasons cycle through their predictable transformations, so too does everything in the universe move in rhythmic cycles. This is the principle of rhythm. Every effect has a rhythm, a period of waxing and waning, of expansion and contraction, of rise and fall. Nothing remains static. Energy flows, builds, peaks, and then recedes, only to begin the cycle anew. It's the pulse of the universe, a constant ebb and flow that governs all existence. We see this rhythm everywhere. The beating of our hearts, the breath we take, the phases of the moon. The cycles of financial markets, the rise and fall of civilizations, are all manifestations of this universal law. Even our own emotional states are subject to rhythm. We experience periods of joy followed by moments of sadness, surges of energy followed by fatigue. This is not a sign of failure or weakness, but a natural part of the energetic process. The key to understanding and working with this principle is recognizing that these rhythms are inevitable. Trying to fight against them, to force a constant peak, or to prevent a natural decline, is not only futile, but also energetically draining. Instead, the wise approach is to become aware of the rhythm, to understand its patterns, and to work in harmony with it. This means knowing when to push forward and when to allow things to recede, when to act and when to rest, when to be expansive and when to be contractive. By understanding these natural cycles, we can anticipate them and prepare for them. We can learn to ride the waves of energy rather than being overwhelmed by them. This doesn't mean passively accepting whatever comes, but rather intelligently navigating the energetic currents. It's about having resilience, knowing that even in times of apparent decline, the seeds of resurgence are already being sown. This profound understanding of rhythmic flux prepares us for the final, and perhaps most liberating, Hermetic principle. The principle of gender. Everything in existence possesses a masculine and a feminine principle, a duality of gender. This isn't about biological sex as we understand it, but about fundamental energetic polarities that exist within all things, all beings, and all processes. The masculine principle is typically associated with force, action, penetration, and outward projection. The feminine principle, conversely, is associated with reception, nurturing, form, and inward gestation. Both are essential, and neither can exist without the other. Think of the universe itself. It actively projects creation, sending forth energy and ideas into manifestation. That's the masculine aspect. Yet it also receives and nurtures these creations, providing the space and substance for them to grow and take form. That's the feminine aspect. This interplay is constant, a dynamic dance that brings all things into being. In human terms, the masculine principle might be seen as the drive to initiate, to build, to express outwards, while the feminine principle is the capacity to receive inspiration, to cultivate, and to allow things to unfold internally before sharing them. Hermeticism teaches that the perfect balance and integration of these two principles within ourselves is the ultimate key to conscious creation and personal fulfillment. When one principle dominates excessively, imbalances arise. Too much of the outward masculine energy without the grounding, receptive feminine can lead to recklessness and burnout. Too much of the inward, feminine energy without the generative masculine can lead to stagnation and inaction. The true power lies in the harmonious union of both. This duality of gender exists not only within individuals, but also within every concept, every object, and every situation. Recognizing this inherent polarity helps us to understand the deeper workings of creation and to navigate our own lives with greater wisdom and balance. It reveals that true power comes not from suppressing one aspect of ourselves, but from embracing and integrating both the active and the receptive, the projective and the gestative. And with all 7 principles understood, we begin to see how they weave together to shatter our illusions and reveal a path to effortless being. But the true liberation comes not just from knowing these principles, but from understanding how they unlock the mystery of duality. Make sure to subscribe for more videos and hit that notification bell so you never miss a new video. We'll see you in the next one.